Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis. Questions sent to us by people from all over the world, especially our youth. And today's subject is courage. There is a flower that is called courage, and its white form is integral courage. If you look closely at this wayside plant, you will see that in the center of the flower there is a crown. For me, that is courage. Mother commented on integral courage, and she said, "Whatever the domain, whatever the danger, the attitude remains the same, calm and assured." Courage is a sign of the soul's nobility, but courage must be calm and master of itself, generous and benevolent. In true courage, there is no impatience and no rashness. Never mistake rashness for courage, nor indifference for patience. A noblest courage is to recognize one's faults. There is no greater courage than that of recognizing one's own mistakes. There is no greater courage than to be always truthful. A most terrible thing it is, only when you have not strength or courage, something unconquerable. How often they come and tell me, "I want to die, I want to run away, I want to die." They get the answer, "But die to yourself. You are not asked to let your ego survive. Die to yourself since you want to die. Have that courage, the true courage of dying to your egoism." You are asleep. Fire! The cry of alarm has awakened you. You leap from your bed and see the red glare of the blaze. You are not stricken with mortal fear. You run through the smoke, the sparks, the flames to safety. This is courage. It is right to take care of your life and to defend it bravely. But there is a greater courage, the courage which is shown for the sake of others. There is a courage which can make you cross rivers, and another that enables you to take the right path. But even more courage is needed to stay on the right path than to enter it. Listen to the parable of the hen and her chicks. Siddhartha, the Blessed One, used to instruct his disciples to do their best, and then to trust that the best would bear its fruits. Just as, he said, a hen lays eggs and broods on them, and never thinks of fretting, "Will my little chicks be able to break out of their shells with their beaks and see the light of day?" You too should have no fear. If you are persistent in the noble path, you also will come into the light. And this is true courage, to walk the straight path, to brave storm, darkness, and suffering, and to persevere, moving ever forward, in spite of everything, towards the light. Whosoever is courageous can give courage to others, just as the flame of one candle can light another. Brave boys and girls who read this story, learn how to encourage others and be courageous yourselves. Sire, he said, in the heart of each man there is both wisdom and foolishness. If wisdom dwells in his breast, life goes well with him. If it is foolishness, all goes ill. I fear that you harbor foolishness in your breast, O my brother, for you give ear to those who give bad advice. They are not your true friends. He fell silent and kissed the feet of the king. Wretch, cried Ravana, you too are one of my enemies. Speak no more senseless words to me. Talk to the hermits in the woods, but not to one who has been victorious over all the enemies he has fought. And as he shouted, he kicked his brave brother, Vibhishan. So, with a heavy heart, his brother rose and left the king's house. Knowing no fear, he had spoken frankly to Ravana. And since the 10-headed one would not listen, Vibhishan had no choice but to leave. Vibhishan's act was one of physical courage, for he did not fear his brother's blows. But it was also an act of mental courage, for he did not hesitate to utter words that the other courtiers, physically as brave as he, would not have let fall from their lips. This courage of the mind is known as moral courage. Such was the courage of Moses, the leader of Israel, who demanded from the Pharaoh of Egypt the freedom of the oppressed Jewish people. Such was the courage of Muhammad, the prophet, who imparted his religious thought to the Arabs and who refused to be silenced, even though they threatened him with death. Such was the courage of Siddhartha, the Blessed One, who taught the people of India a new and noble path, and was not terrified by the evil spirits who assailed him under the bow tree. Such was the courage of Christ, who preached to the people, love one another, and was not intimidated by the pontiffs of Jerusalem who forbade him to teach, nor by the Romans who crucified him. So we have noted 3 kinds, 3 degrees of courage. Physical courage for oneself, courage for the near one, the friend, the neighbor in distress, the threatened motherland. Finally, the moral courage that enables one to stand up to unjust men, however powerful they may be, and to make them listen to the voice of right and truth.